Now these suits are all made for me. And I'll give you an example, what I mean by good tailoring. I must have about 100 suits and jackets. Must be 15 years, 20 years old. But they never wear out. They're beautifully made. I'm dressing up because, first of all, I'm alive. That's a celebration in itself, isn't it? But look at the perfect lines, the way the lines and how they match up. I was always dressed as if I was on to some very important business. And I dressed up for a story. I thought the story is important business. We're talking about style. Journalists has to have style too, I believe, unless you're indistinguishable, in which case you might as well get out of the business because you can be so swallowed up and have such an unfulfilling life because you'll never have an identity. You're talking about having bylines in your hats. Look at that. This is by my friend down there in, it's called Portofino. My mother ran a dress shop. My father was a tailor and ran a tailor shop. I grew up dressing well. It was enforced in my tailor father's home. I was an ad for his craftsmanship as a kid. Cashmere just came with the vest, jacket. What you make in the form of a garment, be it a dress or a suit, my father and mother's case, or what I make of my work as a writer or journalist, that it holds up, that it's reliable, that it's well made, well crafted. Curiosity is what propels a nonfiction writer. The curiosity. Then the second stage is getting off your ass and going somewhere. But making that first appearance is so important. People look at you who don't know you, and if they think you're a journalist, they might well suspect the veracity of, or can they trust you? And I see reporters today, for all forms of periodicals, maybe they're magazines, maybe they're newspapers, maybe they're television shows, dressed terribly. They look like they're part of a football tailgate party. My sense of style is to be somewhat singular, a stylish singularity. These are all handmade shoes. They're all made by the same designer. He's not a designer, he's a craftsman, he's a bootmaker. Well, I dress in Aurora, Colorado, as I would in Paris, France, or as I would anywhere. It's a casual afternoon suit. I do care about the impression I make in the street, even though I'm among strangers. Who knows me in Aurora, Colorado? Nobody. But I know me in Colorado. This is this suit. The same. My clothes, in many cases, are very old, but they're never ever out of style because they never were in style. You can still do things, as I did with this jacket, to cover up the frayed cuffs with new. This is suede. You can't maybe see it, but it's green suede. So with a little imagination, you can hold on to your clothes forever. A little bit of imagination and a good neighborhood tailor. I'm 81 now, and I still go about my work in the same way. I don't use a tape recorder. I make my notes on a little shirt board. I have these little pieces of cardboard. This is my one old Mont Blanc pen. I have 6 of these in case I lose one. I have exactly the same kind to replace it. I like having a feel for my work as my father had a feel for a needle. He didn't use a sewing machine. I remember him constantly saying, you cannot use a sewing machine. You have to do it by hand. So in a way, I'm not using a sewing machine when I don't use a tape recorder. And I don't know why I hope I'm not bragging about doing nothing except old-fashionable way of doing things or familiar way of doing things. But I feel comfortable. I still believe that there is something, if you work well, carefully, put your words together in a way that is precisely what you want to say, and the best way you could possibly say it. I believe that no less than a short story or a play or a poem or a novel, journalism can stand up. Look at that, the beautiful cut of that suit. I've always been very careful. My father was very careful. When he sewed a suit together, it was going to stand the test of time and even some rough treatment by his customers. And it looked and it hung well. It was the suits he did, they lasted. So style lasts forever. Good writing could last forever. Standards must last forever.